Welcome, SHSATers. What's up, people? Just make sure we're live here. So we're using the last handbook, the current handbook. I'm going to attempt to do a cover-to-cover review with almost no time left. I'm going to pace it out, though. If I only get so far, I only get so far. Please like and subscribe, right? Share. This takes a lot of my time. We're going to go maybe about 45 minutes today because I have a student right after this. You guys probably, I'm not going to catch anybody on the stream because you guys are probably still trying to get home from school. But some of you might pop on, perhaps from your phones on the bus and the train, etc., etc. I see a few people piling in. Actually, like and subscribe, smash it, people. Okay, this is to help everybody, and just give me some incentive as well on top of it. All right, so again, I'm using the 2021, 2022 SHSAT Handbook, the last one, and I started with the math section. This way, I think we can get enough done. And I think students do better in the math, so we're going to try to maybe bump up your game there. The last time we were at question number 62, and I realized it was the last one to do, but I realized I left kind of half of it out. Wait, give me 1 second. My thing is not showing this right. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm not sure we're live. If anybody's out there, just say hi so I know we're live because I'm getting a message that it's not working. All right, I'll keep talking and see what happens. And check again in 5 minutes. All right, so I mentioned that getting the minus 15 was easy once you realized it was the integers and it was the x and the x plus 1 kind of thing. And that obviously the two numbers were the -8 and the -7. If this was a harder example, it may be involving three numbers, that kind of thing would have been harder. So let me just go over the algebra real quick with you guys. If we know it's x and x plus 1, we can come down and actually do algebra for it over here. So we know that the first number, x, plus the second number, x plus 1, is going to be equal to the -15. So we can get this equation right here, okay? And then all we have to do is solve for it. So we can subtract 1 from both sides. We get -16, and x plus x is 6. This is 6. What am I saying? X plus x is 2x, okay? So then we get 2x equals -16. And then obviously divide by 2 on both sides and get x equals 8. And then we do the x plus 1. Remember, it's not -9. It's -7, okay? And that's our two numbers. And then we can solve it the same way we solved it before by now coming up here and doing this part. All right, so that's that. So that's the end of the grid-in questions. There's only 5 on most exams. Multiple choice, solve each problem, select from the best answer, mark your answer, whatever. So the directions for that are normally simple. Remember to read the very beginning. I'm not covering it. I might cover it after this once we get all the problems through. I mean all the problems. I'm gonna might go back to the instruction parts of the handbook and cover those. Although I covered them in past years' handbooks, I did 2 or 3 other cover-to-cover reviews in the past, so you can check that. But what you want to make sure is look at the directions that say things like things are not to scale and all that kind of stuff like that. There's a bunch of instructions somewhere. I think it's before this page. Let's go to it real quick then. Might be before that even. Let's see. No. All right. Well, anyway, there's extra instructions that give you details about knowing some terminology and different points and all these kind of things like that. All right. Let me resync this back up. And I lost the page. Where did the page go? While I'm doing that, I'm Greg from GregsTutoringNYC. You can contact me at GregsTutoringNYC@gmail.com. You can check out my site, GregsTutoringNYC.com. I'm a tutor in the New York City area. I don't just tutor for the SHSAT. I tutor for a whole bunch of exams: the ISEE, the SSAT, the PSAT, the Hunter College High School exam, the Bergen County Academy test in New Jersey. I even do some even wilder stuff. I tutor for the Chicago exam in Chicago. They have specialized high schools there. I tutor for a similar exam in New South Wales. Okay, so I do a lot of this stuff for lots of different exams, um, including tinier exams. Some schools have screened admissions where they have their own exams. Plus, I do, New York State exams as well as New Jersey exams, Connecticut exams, Massachusetts exams. I used to tutor for the Boston specialized schools, but they removed that test for now, as well as the Virginia school. That doesn't have a test anymore. So we'll have to see how politics work themselves out. All right, so finally we get back to 63. The set of possible values of M is this. So this curly brace thingy here, that's establishing a set. When you see a bunch of numbers between that, that says it's a set. In this case, the name of the set is M, as in Mary. That's the M you're seeing there. So it says, what are the possible values of K if 2K equals this here? So we see that equation uses M, okay? So what's asking us to do is to take each respective value of M. So M is a set with 3 elements, 5, 7, and 9. So what it's going to do is take them each in turn, right? So first we're going to try 5. We're going to get 5 plus 3 is 8. So we have 2K equals 8, therefore K equals 4. So that would be our first term here. If M is now 7, we're going to get 7 plus 3 is 10. Divide by 2 and get 5. That's the one there. And just to confirm, there's no other choice here that would match here. The next one is 9 plus 3 is 12. Divided by 2 is 6. All right? So what we're doing is getting a second set. That's why it says values as in plural of K. So K is a new set based on the respective elements of M being taken one at a time. All right? Some middle schools don't cover sets at all. Some cover it like the last day of June, so that's not too great when that happens. But that's basically the Cliff Notes version of this. And of course, if your school does do sets, then you would know how to solve this with not really a great problem at all, right? The second problem is just combining like terms kind of a thing. All right. Give me one second. My computer's freaking out. One second. I have a process that looks like I'm gonna have to crash it. One second. Come on, come on, come on, come on. All right, okay, it's gone. All right, so this is basically a combined like problem question. And the gotcha with many math problems is our lovely minus sign. Okay, so we could apply this straight up and basically cross this out. Okay, so that means we get minus 4n and minus 8, right? The minus sign applies to both terms. One way to think about this, if you can't kind of figure that out, is that minus outside is basically a minus 1, and you're applying the distributive property to both terms. Let me just get rid of that piece of dirt there. So that looks like I wrote an equal sign. Not erasing it. Lovely. Okay, so now we have to work on the 7, the 6, and the minus 8, right? So we're going to get 7 plus 6 is 13, minus 8 gives us 5. And then we're going to have, I'll change the color for that. We're going to have 3n minus 4n is minus n. Okay, and it turns out our answer would be E. Okay, so that one's pretty straightforward. It's getting that minus sign right. There's lots of problems that are PEMDAS related or order of operation. There's lots of problems where they give us combining like terms kind of thing, where the only really gotcha is the minus sign there. Okay, 65. So there's a lot of questions on SHSAT involving test scores. Okay, and they're all kind of rooted in the same concept, but there's about 50 kind of twists they can put to it. So it can get sloppy real fast, if you will. So let's read it and give it a shot. In a certain school, course grades range from 0 to 100. All right, that's your grade in a course. Adrian took 4 courses, and her mean course was 90. Okay, so mean is the same as average. It's different than median. And median doesn't mean average. Median means the middle number. So be careful on these questions. It's looking for average. So average, as we know, is equal to the sum of the numbers over the number of numbers. That's supposed to be an S. Or we could just put total numbers, right? So how does that help us? Because if she took 4 classes at 90, right, we're looking at 360 there then. That's the sum of the numbers. Because basically what we're going to have is 360 over the 4. Something is killing my computer today. It's going way too slow. So the 360 over the 4 is going to give us the 90. Okay, normally in these kind of questions, we can apply the average twice. So let's see what they throw at us. So far, we're up to right here and processing the sentences. Okay. Roberto took 5 courses. If both students have the same sum of the course grades, the 360, what was Roberto's mean? So Roberto is going to be 5 into 360 then, right? Because his sum is 360, but his total number of tests is 5. So we're going to do 5 into 360 then. And we can see 5 goes into 3, it doesn't. 5 goes into 36, 7 times, right? And really at that point, we're done with the problem because there's no other answer that has the 70. But we would have 1 left over, and 5 goes into that too, right? So we end up with choice number A is the answer for that. Okay, so do you see how it kind of use this, the average kind of concept twice, if you will? So it either uses the total number of tests twice, or the sum of the tests twice, or the average twice. And sometimes it's a twist because they may add another test onto it. And then you have to do funny things with the extra exam that way as well. All right? So that is 65. Okay, 66 is what I categorize as an age problem, where like I'm twice your age, and in 5 years I'm going to be 10 times your age, because it's often rooted in things like that. Okay, so Jenny starts a game with twice as many marbles as Keiko. So let's just start making note of that. Jenny has, which would be an equal sign, twice Keiko. Okay, so we mapped the first sentence, so we're good with that. Jenny gives Keiko 5 marbles, so now Jenny has 5 less marbles. One second, the software sync into the internet. There's too many delays with this today. So Jenny's original amount, less 5, because she's giving 5 to Keiko. Which means Keiko has 5 more. So Keiko plus 5. Right, so we're just taking this a little step at a time, just trying to figure out if Jenny lost 5 and she gave it to Keiko, then Jenny is minus 5 and Keiko is plus 5. Now something else may happen to Keiko, so I'm gonna parenthesize it just automatically. And this is kind of your infrastructure for this kind of a problem. Just take it a little phrase at a time and bite it off and keep going along. That's supposed to be a 5. The software is not keeping up with me. Actually, now it looks like a 6, so that doesn't help. Okay, so Jenny starts the game with twice as many marbles as Keiko. That's the first equation. Jenny gives Keiko 5 marbles, but she still has 10 more than Keiko. Okay, if she has 10 more, we have to kind of give Keiko 10 for the equal sign to make sense then. Right? So these kind of problems often become kind of unintuitive because it sounds like we should do the plus 10 on the side with J. But to balance it out, it's the same as when Jenny has twice as many. We don't do 2J equals K, right? So it's on the other person, if you will, on these kind of examples with this kind of a thing. Okay? And then how many marbles did Jenny have to start with? all right? So what we can do is, there's a couple ways to do this. One way is to replace J with 2K, right? Because that's what the first equation tells us to do. Okay, and it turns out that this parenthesis here, because it's k plus 5 plus 10, we kind of don't need it. So I'm going to just put little x's on top of it. Okay, so what we can do is add 5 to both sides, so we can get rid of that. So this is going to be plus 5 at the end of that then. Okay, so what we get is, if we have 2k equals k plus 20 then, right? Because if we get rid of all the integers, so we have 2k equals k plus 20. And if we get rid of a k from both sides, that one goes away, and this 2 goes away because 2k minus that. And we end up with k equals 20. Okay? They're asking us how many Jenny had, though. So Jenny would have had 40, right? Because if Keiko is 20 and we plug it into the original equation, we're going to get Jenny equals 40. Okay, and if we run it through the English again, Jenny starts with twice as many as Keiko, so 40 is twice as many. If Jenny gives Keiko 5 marbles, so now Jenny has 35, right? That means she gives 5 to Keiko, who had 20, now she has 25, right? And then she gives 10 more, now she has 35, and they both end up with the 35. So we were able to oblige the first equation and the second equation by feeding it back in. Okay, so that's 66. Okay, this one is one of these gotcha ones that they're, as I always say, the problem with the hard questions, they're hard, and the problem with the easy questions, they're easy. This is one of those gotcha ones that you guys do in your head, and it's so easy to get it wrong. So therefore, most of you do get it wrong. Okay, so while that's getting in place, give me 1 second because my computer seems locked up. What's happening? This is not a good day for my computer. Let me see here what's going on. I'm not sure what's going on. Okay, anyway, let's try to go on. I have a runaway process again. So in the scale diagram, 0.125 inch represents 125 feet. So how many inches represent a foot? So what we have is 0.125 and we can kind of make it into a fraction if we want, over 125. And really what they're asking for is a proportion where whatever the answer is the A, B, C, or D, and it's going to be over 1 because the bottom is feet. So all we really did was divide. We can do the cross product and all that stuff, but we can also just observe that we're dividing the denominator by 125. So if you divide the top by 125, we should get A, right? If you could do 125 into 0.125, we're going to get A, okay? So that's the end of that example. It's pretty much a no-brainer. Okay, 68, we're going to look at the illustration. The number of people in a vehicle at a checkpoint. And then we have 2 columns within the table, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 or more, and the percent of vehicles. So 35% of all the vehicles and something had 2 people in them, and so on. All right, and I'm assuming if we add that up, 40 plus 35 plus 15 plus 7 plus 10, we should get 100. So let's see if we do. We got 75, 85, 90. Yep, we get 100 down there. Okay, I often like to do that total. It's not a requirement, but it's just to help me understand that that is what's going on in this table, and that does make sense. Okay. All right, so there's no words before this, there's words after it. A researcher recorded the number of people in each vehicle that passed through a checkpoint. Great, that's kind of confirming it. The table above shows that the percent distribution of 420 vehicles that passed through the checkpoint yesterday morning. All right, so let me just see if I can start shifting this a little bit. Okay, that should show everything all at once. How many of the 420 vehicles contained at least 3 people? Well, this contains 3 people. This contains at least 3 people because 4 is at least 3. And this also does, right? So what we have is 15 plus 7 plus 3. That's 25%. So really what we're trying to get here is 25% of the 420. All right? Which would give us G. Right? We can do it on the side, or we can divide 420 in half. We get 210, and then divide that in half again, we get 105. All right? So this is things you guys should be able to do and know. It's part of your mathematical savvy, if you will. All right, so this one just naturally looks more complicated. So it probably is. So give me 1 second again. All right, that looks lined up. So looks like we have a pyramid with a square base. It seems to be a regular one where the apex R is centered and at a 90-degree angle, and all the sides seem to be correct and nice. And again, the base looks like a square, and it's a rectangular. If you will, in this case, it's square though, because the square is a rectangle. So we have a rectangular prism. And they give us that this here is 90. That might be helpful. I don't know why. We have to see eventually what they eventually try to ask us. So there's nothing more going on here except that they've labeled each intersection area and the angles, if you will, the apexes, the vertices rather. In the pyramid above, each triangular face has the same area. So the 4 triangles around going into the apex, they're all exactly the same. They look like they're isosceles, but they might be equilateral. We don't know yet. Okay, and then it says the base MNPQ, which is the square at the bottom, measures 8 centimeters on each side. So we can label that. There's 8 there. Right, if that's so, we know it's this line here is also 8. The whole front is 8. And we know that the whole back line, that whole dotted back line is also 8 then. Okay, this came out looking like 0. Okay, at the length of RS, the line segment RS is 6. So this right here, I'll draw it in, if you will. That's 6. Okay, what is the surface area of the pyramid, excluding the base? So it's not asking for the volume, it's asking for the surface area. Okay, so it just means what is the 2D area of the 4 triangles added up together? So it seems to me that if we get the area of the triangle, right, let's just use the one that I drew on, that's 1/2 BH. Okay, the base is 8, which is this line across here, and the height they just gave us was 6. That's RS. So we have 6 times 8 is 48. Divided in half, we get 24. So the area of each triangle face around the sides is 24. So then all we have to do is multiply that by 4. So we get 24, double it, we get 48, double it, we get 96. Okay? So that's pretty much all they're looking for there. Okay, give me 1 second again, guys, because I have a runaway process still. I tried to kill it before, but apparently didn't die. So give me 1 more second to try to get rid of it. I'm doing this on a Mac, so I don't know why that's affecting it like that, but it did. It did. It diddly do. Okay, give me 1 second to let it kind of clean up properly. By the way, I wish all you guys luck on your exams. Some of you are starting on Thursday. It's still going for another a week and a half or 2 weeks after that. So for students who are not in the DOE, for students in grade 9, and some schools were actually given permission to do their exams on the weekend, not during a school day. Yeah. Oh, this is not looking good. My computer is not looking good. I may have to end this stream. Let me see if I can shift this over. It's not even letting me shift this. Was there a question underneath that too, by the way? Okay, there we go. It's moving now, finally. Okay, the perimeter of a rectangle is 510 centimeters. So if we add up the 2 lengths and the 2 widths, we get 510. Okay. Right. It's telling us that the ratio of the length to the width is 3. If that's the length and this is the width, is 3 to 2. Okay. Which means this would also be 3. And this would be 2. Okay. So in terms of ratios, this means we have 3 plus 3 plus 2 plus 2. So what do you get? 6, 7, 8. We get 10 parts. So that means each part is 51. So we have to just multiply these. 51 times 2 is 104, is that? No, it's 102, right? So the times 2, and the 51 times 3 is 150, plus the 3, 153. So our answer there would be F. That's all they want us to do there. A lot of kids kind of freeze up on this problem. They don't know where to go with it. Remember, it's a ratio. And if we actually divide if we do 153 over 102 and reduce it, we should get the 2 over 3. And remember, it's not the opposite way. In this example, at least all the first numbers here are higher than the second number. So there's a clue there. Often they'll give it to you as a 3 to 2, and also give some answers as 2 to 3. They didn't do that in this case. All right, this is painful. I'm gonna have to probably end the stream and reboot. Let me try to see if we can squeeze in one more. No, my computer's locking up too much. Darn it, because I'm running out of time to try to help you guys with this before the exam. Let's see, what time is it anyway? Okay, let's try to see if we can get this going. All right, seems to be letting me draw now. Okay, which number line below shows the solution to the inequality here? There's a couple ways to do this. We need to get x by itself, so we kind of have two equations. We have x over 2 is less than 2, okay, and I'll change the color if it lets me. And we also have minus 4 is less than x over 2. So there's two things going there. We can solve those simultaneously, or we can solve them together just by multiplying both sides by 2. If we multiply all three things by 2, if we multiply the mid by 2, the denominator goes away. Okay, so this is 2 times 2 here. And we get minus 4 times 2 over here. And that's pretty much it. We got minus 8 is less than x is less than 4. So which one seems to match that? And by the way, it's less than, so when it's on the number line, we're going to have a circle that's not filled in. So in this case, they all are that, okay? So the one that matches that is D. Okay, minus 8 is less than x. So x is within from here to here somewhere, and it ends right here at that one there. Yeah, 4. That's 4. Right. This should be minus 8 over here. Okay. I think I'm going to end this because I can't get this computer to respond properly. Unless does anybody have questions? We can do some Q&A here. All right, wait, it's moving again, so maybe we can get this going. The sum of the numbers x, comma, y, comma, and z is 50. Right? So that's pretty obvious. We have x plus y plus z is equal to 50. That's a bad z. Give me one more second. I think that process finally died. Let's see. Yeah, okay. I think we may have some freedom here. Okay, the ratio of x to y is 1 to 4. So I'm going to kind of write that right under the x plus y, just to show that ratio there. And the ratio of y to z, so I'm going to kind of write that also directly under. I'm going to change the color, is 4 to 5. Okay, so if we were to write this out as a full ratio involving all three, in other words, x to y to z. Okay, this is definitely faster now. Hopefully that process is totally gone. I don't know why it took so long to go, and hopefully it's totally gone at this point. Okay, so basically we have 1, x to y is 1 to the 4, and y to the z is 4 to the 5. So we can write it all together. Okay, so this kind of means almost the same as the example we just did maybe 2 examples ago. There's 10 parts here. 5 plus 4 plus 1 is 10. Okay. So that means each part was worth 5. If we add the 3 of them up here, each part is worth 5. So this is 5, right? 5 times 4 is 20. And 5 times 5 is 25. And that would add up to 50. So that means y is 20. So that would give us the h for that answer right there. Okay, so 72 would be h. Okay, so this is a probability one. So there's exactly 6 red pencils. 6 red. Okay. The probability of choosing a red is 2/7. Okay. Then it asks us, how many of the pencils are not red? In other words, we kind of have to figure out what the total number of pencils are, and then figure out which ones were not red once we know how many were red. Okay. So 6 were red. Oh man, this is torturous. All right, I don't know, not sure what's happening with the computer. Can you do more ninth SHSAT ELA and math prep? This is part of it. SHSAT 9 includes SHSAT 8. Okay, and I'm just going through this methodically. I'm doing a cover-to-cover review on this stream, so we're just going through this sequentially at this point. All right. Eventually, I'll get to the SHSAT 9 questions and the extra grid-ins at the very end. A lot of you guys don't know that there's grid-ins at the very end of the SHSAT handbook that are not part of Form A or Form B. Okay, so you guys need to figure that out as well. Okay. I'm trying to follow the book from cover to cover. So, and I started with the math section, so I'm just going to keep going. If I now skip the grade 9, I'm just bopping about, all right? All right, I think I'm going to end this here now because I need to reboot this computer. I have some sessions later on as well, too. So, all right, we got a few more done here. I think we got about 10 done, and that's normally my line in the sand. I was hoping to at least get 70 to 74 done, but I'm not. I'm going to have to reboot this and get this figured out. If I can do that in 2 minutes, I'll start this right back up. Because I have, I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah, I have to definitely be in a session at 5, so we still have another half an hour. So let's see how this goes. All right, please like and subscribe, and maybe I'll be right back. It depends what happens. All right, see y'all soon. If not, I might do a stream later tonight, maybe at 9 o'clock or something.